Hello, it's Christina from the Turned Leg, and today I just got all my IOD Holiday Release items. I am so excited. I'm going to be going through them and getting ready for the big release on October 1st at noon Eastern. Now, for this video, it's probably going to be coming out on October 1st, so you're already going to get to see all of the good stuff, but I just can't wait. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to grab some quick salvage whatever I can find, and I'm going to start playing. Come along. I think what's making this release even more exciting is it is the first time that I am an IOD retailer. I became a retailer earlier this year, and I have been busy playing with all of the great products from IOD. Let's see how many holiday crafts I can create. I've found an old window, a piece of barnwood, a picture frame, and some old ornaments. I'm going to start with the old window. First thing it needs is a good cleaning on the glass, and I am going to be using Debbie's Design Diary paint. It is a clay-based, all-natural paint. I'm using Monet's Garden because it sticks to everything, and my smoothie brush. The window's a little rough, so I think it needs some new color. Also, it's the holidays. Green is great for that. So I'm covering the whole surface with Monet's Garden. Actually, just one coat. You see, this paint is a clay-based paint. It is water soluble, non-toxic, all the good stuff, sticks to anything, and check out the amazing coverage of this paint. The first coat is on, and I'm going to let this dry. Depending on humidity, DIY paint will dry in about 20 minutes, and it lightens as it dries, so you can tell when it's ready for the next step. While the paint is drying, I'm going to take a look at the new IOD transfers. IOD has a wide variety of transfers for any taste, but the IOD Holiday Collection really ticks all of the boxes. This is Crimson Velvet, which has like a dark, moody feel. There's also Yuletide, and all of these transfers are smaller in size, but there are 8 pages. Yuletide has a lot of birds, a lot of animals, a lot of classic Christmas things like Santa and stockings, and they've also brought back the fairies. So if you're a fan of fairies, you got to check that one out. My favorite, I think, although I'm really having a hard time deciding, is this transfer. This is the Kitschy Christmas IOD transfer, and they've never done anything like this. This brings back the vibes of like the 1950s, and all of the pretty pastel colors are here too. If you want to get your hands on any of the paint or products that I am going to be using here today, you can shop at my booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall in Lincoln Park, Michigan, or online at shoptheturnedleg.com. Remember those old ornaments I had? These transfers are going to stick perfectly to those. Just picking the right transfer is the hardest part because there's so many good ones. You want to make sure you find a transfer that's a little bit smaller than the ornament so it's going to fit for you. And the way the transfers work is there is a protective backing on it. Once you remove it, it can stick down to any surface, so you really have to be careful to not put it down until you know where it's going. And you can use a little bit of tape to hold it in place. I'm using my finger. It worked pretty good because it's so tiny. And now this little tool comes with the transfers, and you can just rub the transfer. It will release from the grid paper, and you can pull it back. It is really that simple. Make sure to stay to the end of the video to see how all of these projects turned out. Last week, one of my friends was clearing out their garage and they were getting rid of this pretty much new frame. And they said, "Did I want it?" Of course I did. I didn't know what project I had in store, but this would be perfect. So I am removing the backing. And in pictures, sometimes there's actually like a white piece of paper. I'm going to use the back of it. Put another transfer on it. You really want to make sure you get it straight. Luckily, there's the grid paper, which helps so very much. So I've removed the protective backing. I'm lining it up, pressing it down a little bit. I'm going to use a little tape here so nothing is wiggling because this transfer is a little bit larger. I'm going to start from the top, rubbing and pulling back. And you want to kind of go slow. If it is not releasing, you can put it back down and keep kind of rubbing. But it's really as simple as that. Now it's ready to go back into the frame. The paint is dry on the picture frame, so I'm going to sand back the first layer of paint with my 220 grit sandpaper. I'm giving it a distressed look. I really like it looking kind of old, and the green turned out so pretty. I also sealed the window frame with DIY clear wax. For more help on how to wax, you can check out the link to the video here. For my next project, I'm going to be using the brand new formulated erasable liquid chalk from IOD. It comes in this bottle and you're going to need to put it into an ink pad. The ink pads are blank. Just kind of squeeze it on, work it in, and you are set to go. You can, of course, use this product on chalkboards, but I'm going to use it on glass. And I'm going to be pairing it with the Vintage Snowflakes and Winter Forest IOD stamps. When you open your IOD stamps for the very first time, you want to grab a sanding block. You want to make sure you sand the surface of your stamps just to get any of the factory finished stuff off. You want your stamps to really show off their beautiful details. So remove the clear backer and then just sand lightly in one direction and then the other. You only have to do this the first time you use your stamps. From then on, they are set to go. When you're using your stamps, it's good to use this piece of plastic that comes with the set as a mount for your stamps so that they go down nice and flat. So you can just peel off your stamp. See, what's cool about these stamps is IOD has an impression of the stamp so you know where it goes when you have to put it back. You could just put these right on the mount and then ink up your stamp. Now, I learned a lot from the erasable liquid chalk. It's a little bit different than the ink. You do need a little bit more than you do with the ink. It's very similar to stamping on fabric, so you want to use a little bit more and ink it up. The best part is if you don't like how it turns out, you can erase it. Now you're going to see here, I actually cut the stamps in their bases so that I could position them a little bit easier. So I was using the backing as my mount. That's another option. And for me, with these little trees, it worked out really nice. Now we're just building our forest. The tool I'm using too is called a brayer. I'm using this to make sure I get good pressure all the way along, although sometimes just tickling it with your fingers works really well too. And you're gonna see I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so the nice thing is you can erase what you don't like and redo it and kind of learn. If you're not good at stamping, you don't have to worry about ruining it. You can just start over and get exactly the look that you want. Now I'm adding the vintage snowflakes, and I pressed a few of these down without a mount. Some of them I used a mount, but you can decide what works the best for your project. You know, this whole project would also be beautiful on your windows at Christmas time, just like glass wax used to be a long time ago. And best of all, when you're done, you can just wipe it away and clean the glass. I was gonna use the barnwood, but I think the texture of the wood was a little bit too much for the next project. So instead, I grabbed some fabric. If you're stamping on fabric, you wanna make sure you have a hard surface underneath. And I am going to use the same stamps I used before. We've got the trees, the winter forest, and the vintage snowflakes. You wanna make sure you put a lot of ink on this. So this is not erasable liquid chalk. This is IOD ink that comes in a variety of colors. You're going to ink it really well and then put it down. Make sure to press it down evenly to really get all of the pretty texture to stand out. And you're going to see one, it didn't really go the first time, so I just added more and carefully put it down. I kind of decided that I liked the first 4 I did best, so I ended up just trimming them off, and I'm going to be using now China blue ink for the snowflakes. Because you're stamping on fabric, you want to make sure that the ink is going to stay put. So after you're done, you let it dry for 24 hours and then you heat set it. What I do is I iron the opposite side with a dry iron at the highest temperature that you can for the fabric, and then you could even throw it in the dryer. Just do not use fabric softener. Cleanup of the stamps is also really easy. I just put them all in a bowl of soapy water, let them soak a little bit, and then you can just rinse them off, usually with your fingers or even a sponge, and let them air dry. And now I am so excited to show you the finished projects. I didn't even use all of the new IOD Holiday Release. There are still molds, gilded transfers, and paint inlays. If you want to check out everything from the new release, head over to my website at shoptheturnedleg.com to see all of the goodies. I also want to tell you the Holiday Release is a limited release. So once those items are gone, they are gone forever, with the exception of the La Cloches and the erasable liquid chalk. So keep that in mind. If there's something you really want, make sure to snag one for yourself. And did you notice the tree theme? Totally unintentional, but I think I like trees. As I look around my house, I have a lot of art with trees in it, so I was just naturally drawn. If that's not your thing, I'm telling you, the IOD new products have something for everyone, so go check them out. And if you really enjoyed this content, make sure to head over to my Facebook page where I also do weekly lives, and I'm always working on something. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. I will be back with a new live by next Friday, so a little bit off schedule because of the release, and that will be a thrift haul, and you're not gonna believe what I found. One more thing before we go. If there was a favorite project or a favorite IOD transfer, please let me know what it is down below. Thanks so much. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.